Jennifer Lopez should definitely be charged. Mary J. Blige should also be charged. Should I keep going? Jay-Z should be charged. Khaled should be charged. Rick Ross should be charged. Usher should be charged and tried with him. Off of Justin Bieber alone.
Something else that the jurors saw today that sort of connects it back to this alleged criminal enterprise are 7 photos of people that were very close to Sean Combs, one even his former chief of staff. And these were all people that Cassie Ventura was able to name and explain the functions in terms of what they did: security, driver, chief of staff, someone that handled financials. So it's showing that she knew some of these people, again, because she was with him, around him for so long.
Jaguar Wright spoke out about a list of celebrities who she says left the United States after Cassie Ventura's testimony against Diddy Combs became public in her direct style. Wright shared details that have since spread across social media and entertainment news.
As the Diddy trial is opening up, people keep making this all about Diddy rather than looking at everything that's happening around it.
Rapper Tory Lanez, who's currently serving a decade in prison behind bars.
There's a lot of people that want to protect the Diddy agenda because it serves them, because allegedly they're all accomplices.
You got Ashton Kutcher in love with Mila Kunis on That 70s Show. Then they break up for absolutely no reason after he starts hanging out with Diddy. Then he marries Demi Moore, who drained him of all the adrenochrome she can, and apparently he replenished himself by doing inappropriate things with her daughters.
According to Wright, when Cassie described years of mistreatment and alleged criminal misconduct by Combs, some well-known figures decided to leave the country, even if it was only for a short time. They did this because they were worried their names might get pulled into the trial.
First time you heard me say that Sean Combs trafficker, and you said I was a liar because I was jealous, because I wasn't his girlfriend, because I wasn't successful in the music industry, because I didn't have a hit record, because I didn't live in a mansion, because I didn't have diamonds. You said all of these things about me because I told the truth.
That's
you
real.
disgraced my name, my legacy, my family. You stalked, you hunted me. You harassed my friends. You put pressure on my personal relationships to the point where I had to completely disassociate myself from the whole life just so I could carry the burden of the truth.
Wright opened by praising Cassie's bravery. She explained how from May 13th to May 16th, Ventura gave detailed testimony about years of intimate acts controlled by Combs' physical violence and coercion. As the trial moved forward, it drew a lot of attention, not just because of the serious charges, trafficking, racketeering, and transportation to engage in prostitution, but also because many famous names came up during jury selection and in witness accounts. Wright said that some of these celebrities, afraid of media attention or damage to their reputations, left the country soon after Cassie's story reached headlines.
I was thinking to myself the other day, Uptown Records started with 5 people. Andre Harrell, I'll Be Sure, Heavy D, and Puffy. And Kim was the longest working employee because she was there from the very beginning. She was Andre's personal assistant. Kim's dead. Heavy D is dead. Andre Harrell is dead. The only 2 left are Puffy and Al almost died. Isn't that interesting?
That is interesting.
Heavy D was found dead, face down in the heart attack. Andre Harrell, heart attack. Kim died from pneumonia, but there's the first coroner's report that said that she died. It was ruled a homicide, and they found toxins in her body to prove that she had been poisoned. You know, they have poisons that create heart attack and pneumonia-like symptoms. And then right after that, Al had a meeting, and I was going to meet up with him because we were in Vegas, and then the next thing you know, You want to know what they all had in common, though? The survivors and the late of Uptown Records, they were all writing tell-all books. Andre was writing a book right before he died. Heavy D was working on a book before he died. Kim Porter was working on a book before she died. And Albie Shore was working on the documentary of his life. And then he goes into a coma. Has Puffy ever been in a coma? Has anything happened to him? He must be the luckiest because it seems like everybody that worked at Uptown Records from the very beginning is gone.
The first star Wright mentioned was Jay-Z, the successful rapper and businessman who has worked with Combs before. Wright claimed that Jay-Z quietly booked a private flight to Europe just days after Cassie's testimony hit the press. She said that Jay-Z felt uneasy when she mentioned he had been at one of Combs' FOS with other industry people, even though Jay-Z did not face any charges. Wright said he was worried investigators or reporters might ask him questions. The speed at which he left, she argued, showed that other celebrities were ready to follow suit.
What did you know back then, 3-4 years ago?
Was gonna come forward.
So what did you? How did you know? What did you know about what Cat? Because
I
to
wish
hear
I could explain.
Yeah,
but if I explain how I knew Cassie was gonna come forward, that could hurt some people. I don't spend time around Cassie, and I haven't seen Cassie in person since she was with Ryan Leslie.
Was there something in her eyes that you saw? The way, like now
I'll
that
put it to you this way: there are mutual acquaintances between her and I. And that's as far as I can go.
Next, Wright spoke about Pharrell Williams, a famous producer and artist who has also teamed up with Combs in the past. According to Wright, Pharrell followed Jay-Z's example and flew to Milan for a fashion event right after Cassie's statements went public. Although Pharrell said that he had planned the trip long ago, Wright believed the timing was too close to Cassie's testimony. Jaguar Wright spoke out of list of celebrities who, she says, left the United States after Cassie Ventura's testimony. Diddy Combs became public in her direct style. Wright shared details that have since spread across social media.
I can't wait for everybody to find out what's really been going on in the background. Y'all don't see the lineup?
Yeah, we see the lineup. I'm just waiting to see who's next.
Jay-Z is setting Diddy up. Why is everyone having such a hard time? He ain't doing shit different. He lined up D. Haven, stole his life and identity. He lined up Big L, stole his life and identity. He lined up Dame Dash, stole his life, identity, and took his love. Lined up R. Kelly. He wants to be the one. I want you to think about this. Allegedly, Sean Carter is responsible for enacting Hype Williams to put Aaliyah on a faulty plane. Move her out the way as punishment for rejecting him, and so he could level up Beyonce, who was struggling. Let's just say allegedly that happened. Now I want you to think about 106th and Park with Mary J. Blige. Free, who is a victim of Sean Carter.
yeah.
Mary J. Blige, who is a victim of Sean Combs, are sitting there talking about the death of Aaliyah amongst each other. Think about that. You got a Diddy victim, you got a Jay-Z victim, and you got a superstar gone.
They know what happened.
Entertainment news. According to White, when Cassie described years of mistreatment and alleged criminal misconduct by Combs, some well-known figures decided to leave the country even if it was only for a short time. They did this because they were worried their names might get pulled into the trial. Wright opened by praising Cassie's bravery. She explained how from May 13th to May 16th, Ventura gave held testimony about years of intimate acts controlled by Combs' physical violence and coercion. As the trial moved forward,